Testing. All right. All right. Test over. I think we got this working proper now. Hold on one sec. All right, here's the test. See how things are working out. We're on a little bit of a delay. I have to try to fix that here a little bit later. My name's Ken Winston. This is live stream number 2 for Fantheon Sports. Friday night, January something, 2019, on the eve of the NFL playoffs. I hope everyone is excited as I am. I'll probably have a stream tomorrow, at least for the first game, maybe for both. We'll see how it goes. Probably have to quit my job if I want to do both of them though, which I actually wouldn't mind doing. Anyway, but we're here now tonight, watching. Let's see here. Watching on my left screen, I got the Portland Trailblazers and the Oklahoma City Thunder with 8.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Portland up by 5. It's looking like a pretty solid game. I haven't really been paying attention to it too much. It's hard for me to concentrate on basketball while we're still in football season. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has that problem. Some things I want to talk about tonight. Continue our prediction thread from last night. We chose our 4 wildcard winners using the curse of Donald Trump method. 538.com put out. I think this was actually from September of 2017, but they had polled all the NFL cities or NFL fans to see which way they lean politically. And so we chose each game by who was more Republican, and we used the difference between Republican and Democrat to make that our point spread, and then built our predictions from there. We'll go over them here really quick. I did tweet them out. You can find us at Fantheon Sports on Twitter. So Houston was actually +9 against Indy with this method. So arbitrarily, we just chose a score that we thought would work and fit those parameters. We got Houston 27, Indy 18. Dallas versus Seattle on the curse of Trump method. And just to be clear, this is not a political statement. I just thought it was funny to do it this way. I really don't care about people's politics, and you shouldn't care about mine, or anyone else's, really, for that matter. Dallas was a 16-point favorite using this method, so we went Dallas 32, Seattle 15. In the rematch from a couple weeks ago, the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Baltimore. Oh, I should look up and see if it would have been different if we had chosen San Diego. But the LA Chargers 25, Baltimore 18. That was a 7-point spread. And in the final and closest game of this method, Chicago and Philly. Chicago was a 2-point favorite over Philly using our Revenge of Trump method. And for the score, I figured it'd be low. So we went 13-11 in favor of the Bears. It might have gone too low, though. 19-17 would probably be a little bit more likely. And I think that would be my backup score. That's what I could see happening. I could see Chicago getting a touchdown, a field goal, then a field goal, and then a turnover and a field goal. And like a field goal, maybe. A field goal or two. And I could just see Philadelphia getting to 10 and then stalling out for a bit. Between the middle of the second quarter, middle of the third quarter, maybe getting a touchdown there at the end, get a backdoor cover on that 6.5-point spread. That just seems like a lot. But if there was a team, I do think that if there was a team likely to have a blowout, it would be the Bears, just because I can see their defense chipping in some points. Or just getting a lot of short fields. It'll be interesting to see how Trubisky does in his first playoff game. All right, so that was a recap from yesterday. Let's go ahead. Hold on here. All right. So a few. Man, I can't believe Evan Turner still with the Blazers. Uh so getting on to tomorrow, first game. Thinking about when that that Houston game. If that game more than any other seems like the one I can see going anyway. Like I have no idea. Those two teams just seem like they're gonna be really evenly matched. I think it's gonna be a great game. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. Um, I do think it might come down to how careless Andrew Luck gets with the ball and how much pressure Deshaun Watson feels. Because I can see both of them giving up the ball. Deshaun Watson strip sack, Andrew Luck with an interception or two. Even though their offensive line is better, it gives them more time. I just feel like this year he has not been giving up on plays and has been kind of forcing it. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow he'll just play a little bit more conservative. I don't know though. I wouldn't. I kind of want to see the Chargers win, just so. I think that would. I think. Oh wait, no. Because if Indianapolis wins, they'll go to Kansas City. I don't know. I'll have to double check it. I kind of want to see Houston play New England again. That to me would be just a fun matchup. As much as I like Andrew Luck, I feel like I've seen it too many times. In the playoffs, especially. I know it's been a couple years, but I still think he needs another year or two. Andrew Luck does to come back from his injuries. I just don't. I think that really kind of messed up his development a little bit. Completely off the cuff opinion, though. I don't really know. I haven't looked into it. So yeah, like I said, it's gonna be rambling. No one's gonna show up. This is only the second stream. I haven't really been promoting it that much. First viewer we get, it's gonna be like someone walking in on me masturbating, which in real life hasn't happened yet. Fingers crossed it'll happen soon. Something just popped up on this little YouTube live thing. I wasn't paying attention. All right. Sorry, there's going to be a lot of dead air. I'm kind of getting caught up in this Adams versus Nurkic battle. I miss the old playing the block that we used to get in the NBA a lot more often than we get now. All right. So tomorrow, my prediction, how I actually see, how do I really feel that Houston Indianapolis game is going to go down? I actually do think it might be Houston. There's just something about Deshaun Watson. I think I usually try to stay away from the intangible arguments, but I think with quarterbacks it kind of works. And I think that there's something about him. He's been in big spots before. He's performed well in big spots. I know that to a lot of people it'll be discounted, like because it was in college, but that's a big stage. That was a lot of pressure, and he handled it. And I feel like he's handled his young NFL career the same way. It really was disappointing last year when he got hurt. I feel like that just sets back the development so much more than a year. I think next year we'll see him really unleashed. We'll have to go back here and look at some of his stats, see what kind of year he had. It's hard to keep up with everything. I love all the fluff piece that comes out. When you go to Houston Texans site or page on ESPN.com, Watson says Luck is, quote, a fighter, and he never gives up. Good quote. All right. That might not be bulletin board material, but I bet that's something that Andrew Luck's going to tape to his fridge at home. Like a Valentine's card he got in grade school. All right, let's go take a look here at Deshaun Watson, see what he's got. I forgot to have Joe Webb as our backup. I always liked Joe Webb. Felt like his time in Minneapolis, Minnesota, he should have had another opportunity or two. Deshaun Watson, wow, 68% pass completion over 4,000 yards, 8.25 yards per pass, 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 103 rating, which, take it or leave it. I'm not a big fan on QB rating, but whatever. Fumbled 6 times, though. That's kind of bad. Let's see how many times he got sacked. He ran for 551 yards, 5.6 yards per carry, 5 more touchdowns there, 3 more fumbles there. Unless they're, I don't think that'd be a bolt. I don't think they have. If they split the pass and the rushing, so that would be 10 total fumbles or 9 total fumbles this year. It's kind of a lot. And his receiving stats are 0, which, come on, man, pick it up. So yeah, he had a solid year. Especially that completion percentage. I mean, his average yards per pass came down a little bit, but he did miss out on Will Fuller. It seemed kind of like their deep threat last year. And it was nice to see the connection between him and Hopkins. So, how I see it going, after from all the years of just watching football and absorbing it, I feel like Houston's I think it's gonna be a close game for the first half. I feel like Indianapolis is gonna make a mistake. Probably an interception, maybe in the third quarter. And Houston will get a lead. It'll be like 23-13. But it won't be, it'll be a competitive game. It'll be kind of a shooting themselves in the foot. We'll say 24. We'll say 24-13. 24-10. 24-10. Whatever. Then Indianapolis might come back, get to like 24-21 or 24-18. If we want to keep it on consistent with our point spread pick. And then Deshaun Watson will make a play. It's not going to be a massive play or anything like that. Just keep a couple drives alive. One's with his feet, one's scrambling, making a throw, and then get him in a field goal range. Kind of put it out of reach. Get him up to 8-9 point lead. I think it'll be a competitive game, but I think Houston will kind of put it away about halfway through the fourth quarter. I know Indianapolis their offensive line's gotten better. I just think they're a year away. But what they've done this year, especially after their start, has been pretty incredible. And it's great. I love seeing Andrew Luck back and healthy. I can't wait till he has another offseason to rebuild more of his strength. When I was younger, I used to hate good quarterbacks who weren't on my team. But as I get older now, I just kind of realize you got to enjoy it while you got it. And especially in the NFL, because there's so many crappy quarterbacks. We're actually kind of in a pretty good spot right now, but I'm kind of nervous what it's going to be like 3 years from now when Brady, Breeze, Rivers, Roethlisberger, Eli, when only Joe Flacco is left. I mean, is there going to be enough incoming talent? We'll see. Or we're going to go through like is there going to be a lull? It'd be kind of interesting to see if 3 years from now, 4 years from now, if there is like a little bit of a lull in the level of quarterback play, if they kind of go back to a more run oriented. We're seeing it with the Seahawks, seeing it with the Ravens. But those are both teams, well, especially the Seahawks, have a quarterback who can actually throw the ball. I think Lamar Jackson might get there someday, but he's not there yet. I think he's completing passes like 60%, and he's not even throwing deep. Doesn't seem like. I was trying to catch up and just get a little bit more of a grasp on how Lamar Jackson's been throwing the ball, and I found a really good YouTuber. I should try to look him up. Who broke down all his throws using the all 22 tapes. I believe he was just a Ravens fan. Let's see. See if I can find him here, and I'll give him a little shout out. All right, Ivan Evans. Ivan Evans YouTube channel. Let's see here. I gotta slow it down. I like to watch the videos in like double speed just to get through them all faster, except for when we're doing stuff like this. Yeah, he does check him out. Ivan Evans does a really good breakdown on Lamar Jackson on his throws. I don't know, maybe the guy doesn't know what he's talking about, but he seems authoritative, so I was listening. Wow, really started rambling. Kind of forgot what I was talking about, but sobriety will do that to you. Looks like Portland's up by 9. 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Paul George is having some year. I wonder if he ever regrets re-signing with Oklahoma City. I think they're going to top out. I think just Russ Westbrook's one of those players that you gotta enjoy him while you got him, because when he ages, I feel like he's going to age quickly. And that's too bad because he's an explosive player. He's fun to watch. He might not be a guy you can win an NBA title with unless he's like the 2B player. But he sure is exciting. All right, back to the NFL playoffs. So I think the first game is going to be kind of close. I think Houston's going to have a working lead. I think Indy will score late. They'll make a mistake. Houston will put it away. Deshaun Watson will make a play or two. And we'll go with our Curse of Trump score, 27-18, Houston. That brings us to our second game. And this one, this is the game that I think that a lot of people, most people are on the Seahawks not bandwagon, but kind of expecting the Seahawks to win or possibly win. I mean, it's a pretty, last time I checked the point spread, I think it was a point and a half. It's probably going to help them being a West Coast team traveling time zones to the east, but having the game later at night probably shouldn't affect them as much. That stadium though is massive. I think what's it hold, like 90,000 people. So that's definitely going to be. I mean, it's only like the second home playoff game Dallas has had. Their last one was against Green Bay. I think they lost, scored in the high 30s, both teams. I think it'll be interesting to see what kind of environment it is. Obviously going to be raucous, but I've been to that stadium once. It was a great time. I feel like the Dallas fans are going to bring it, especially if they have all day to tailgate. I mean, they blow it out. So I think they're going to be kind of pretty wound up by that time of night, and I think they're going to cause some problems for the Seahawks. Seahawks team, I don't know. I was looking up the stats today, and they don't seem to be overly penalized. I think from watching their games, I just feel like they always have bad penalties, like penalties at the worst time. But I'm sure every team thinks that when they see a penalty. Growing up, Seahawks were my team; they still are. But with the curse of Trump, I got to go with that score: Dallas 32, Seattle 15. How are we going to get there? Being a Seattle fan, I've seen a lot of games where they kind of blow it. And it kind of seems like they're a team that when things go bad for them, it can steamroll pretty quick. That Carolina Panthers playoff game a couple years ago, I think that was after the Super Bowl loss in New England when the Panthers just jumped out early on them. And then Seattle kind of made a comeback. It tends to be what ends up happening is they scrap the game plan and just put it in Russell Wilson's hands, let him play a little bit more up-tempo, and it loosens them up, and that's usually and they were able to make a little bit of a comeback and make it respectable. They actually had a couple chances there to catch up, but you have to play so mistake-free when you put yourself in that much of a hole. So it'll probably have to be one of those situations if this prediction is going to come true. And for Dallas to get a 17-point lead on the Seahawks, it's probably going to have to be Seattle shooting themselves in the foot. Either Carson or someone fumbling, or I could see a strip sack. Dallas has a pretty formidable defense, a lot of playmakers, so they might not always show up in the stats for those guys who make plays, get to Russ. A strip sack here, or deflected pass interception brought back. Ezekiel Elliott rested for a week, getting the opportunity to really run wild. Liquored up fan base, full of booze and brisket, cheering him on. I can see it. I can see Seattle getting some false starts, some illegal contacts. Maybe Dak Prescott doesn't overthrow wide open receivers running down the field, which seems to happen at least once a game from the Dallas games I've seen. Maybe enough of those passes connect. The snowball rolls downhill. Next thing you know, you got an avalanche. Seahawks get down 24-3, 24-7, 31-10. In the midway through the third quarter, make a little bit of a comeback, or maybe it'll be something like 21-0 quickly. How Dallas kind of comes out. I don't know if it's their play scripting or not. It just seems like when Dallas does well on offense, they do really well early, and then they kind of peter out. I could definitely see that happening. So in a heartbreaking loss for the Seahawks, that's the prediction. Dallas 32, Seattle 15. All right, moving on to the Chargers and Baltimore. I didn't watch much of that last game they played, but looking at the stats, it looked like Baltimore really wasn't effective. And neither were the Chargers. It just seemed like Baltimore made a couple more plays, which obviously could happen again. It will be interesting to see how the Chargers adjust this time. What kind of offensive adjustments they make. I think that they're healthier now. I know Stephen A. Smith is predicting Hunter Henry to have a big game. I'm not sure I can follow him up on that, considering that he's not playing. It would be kind of cool to see Antonio Gates get a pass. Of course, now I said that, I didn't even look to see that make sure he's playing. He could have been on IR 3 weeks ago and I wouldn't have known. But so how I see that game going, I can see Rivers, this being Rivers' game, getting a couple touchdowns. I mean, that guy's capable of throwing some passes into some very small windows. And he's obviously beaten some good teams this year. And that defense is good. I know that if you listen to like the Ringer sports show and stuff like that, people talk about how this Chargers team is built to combat a more modern offense, we'll say. They have pass rushers on the edge. They have the ability to cover pass, to play coverage. They're not really built to stop a multifaceted running attack like Baltimore. But, I guess most teams in the NFL really aren't. But I think they can adjust that pretty quickly. And I think Stephen A. Smith also expects Manti Te'o to have a big game, going sideline to sideline. So we'll see how that goes for him. But I don't know. I could just see the Chargers making the right adjustments. Phillip Rivers having like 3 touchdowns, one or 2 boneheaded throws, but maybe he gets lucky and they get dropped. So no interceptions on those, and they end up winning 25. We'll say 25-18 as a score predicted from the cursive jump algorithm method. And then that'll start a whole week of, is Rivers really the real MVP? Which, he probably actually is. It's just talking about, you take him off that team, and I just think they fall apart. But I guess there's a lot of quarterbacks you can say that about. But everybody will be wondering, is, Rivers. And I think next week he lays an egg, just because that's just how it's going to happen. Uh, and then the fourth game, Chicago 13, Philly 11. This is the game that I can because it's gonna be tight, and I can see this be a game where the officials have a little bit too much of a influence on the outcome. Not in any conspiratorial way. It'll just be some bullshit. Illegal contact 5 yards downfield on like a 3rd and long for the Bears, and that could happen a couple times where Philly just gets caught catching someone away from the play or something like that. It'll be a 5-yard penalty on Mac first down. Keep the drive alive. Keep the Bears at the ball. And they might not do anything super effective on offense, but they'll have the ball enough. Their defense will stay rested, and it'll make it really difficult for Philadelphia to score enough points to win. I think realistically, Chicago will win something like 19-17. And it'll be like 19-10. It'll be like one of those frustrating games for Philadelphia where they'll be close, almost breaking through, and then something each time will kind of bubble up to kill a drive, either a penalty or a drop pass or a missed blocking assignment, something like that. It'll just be like a death by 1,000 cuts, and then in the fourth quarter, at some point, they'll just kind of open it up because they have to, and the Bears will play a little bit more conservatively on defense. They'll get a backdoor cover, late touchdown, onside kick type play, something like that. We'll see. But I can definitely see the Bears like blowing them out too. I can see the Bears just getting like 4 turnovers and just making it just a laugher of a game. So now that we took care of that business of what the quote unquote algorithm tells us who's going to win, I'm going to go again through each game and just tell you who I want to see win. That first game, I would be happy either team that wins, Houston or Indy. I'll probably be rooting for them in the second game or in the next week. Dallas, Seattle, obviously Seattle. Grew up a Seahawks fan, still a Seahawks fan. Chargers, Baltimore. There's just something about I've never been able to root for Baltimore. I just think it's because I wasn't alive when there was a Baltimore Colts, so them losing the Colts doesn't mean anything to me. But I always felt bad for Cleveland losing the Browns and having them be as good as they were as Baltimore. So Chargers it is, which I know is ironic since I'm rooting for a team that literally just moved from San Diego. Does San Diego even know? I mean, are people still not showing up to the games down there? Did they have a good fan base? I'm assuming they did. I don't know. So yeah, that's the battle of. I mean, I guess honestly, if I was trying to be consistent with my philosophy, I should probably start rooting for Baltimore, just like boycott that game. But that's not going to happen. And then the last game, I'm not going to lie, I want to see Philadelphia win. I always root for the shit show. And I want to see, if it can't be the Seahawks win the Super Bowl, I want to see Philadelphia win it again with Nick Foles, just because, what do you do? Like, that would be unprecedented, right? Like, when was the last time? Like, how many times have we seen a backup quarterback win a Super Bowl? Jeff Hostetler, that was one that I could think of. Who else? And then to have someone do it twice in back-to-back years in like the exact same situation, pretty much. Philadelphia will be like a baseball team. They'll have a starter and a closer. So I'm rooting for that to happen. If it can't be the Seahawks, that's what I want it to be, because I think that'll be funny. All right, so now let's hold on one sec. All right, I'm back. I gotta get a real pen. I gotta actually build this bracket out. And since there's not really anyone here, doesn't really matter how much data there is. Okay. Divisional round. So Kansas City would play the lowest team, and so I have that being would that be the Chargers then? Chargers are gonna be the 5 seed. So 5 seed going to Kansas City. I really actually kind of hope that happens. And then that would give us Houston going to New England. And then for the second, the NFC side, going to New Orleans would be Dallas, right? So we'd have Dallas at New Orleans. And that would give us Chicago. Oh wait, is Chicago lower seed? Yeah, they gotta be. No, Chicago's a higher seed going to LA, which would probably terrify the Rams. Yeah, I gotta double check that now. Made a lot of mistakes in my life. I don't want this to be one of them. Yeah. Oh wait, Cowboys are the 4 seed. Seahawks are the 5. So yeah, the Bears are the 3. So the Bears go to LA. Yeah, I was right on that. All right. So now we need to come up with the system now to pick these games. So we have Chargers in Kansas City, Houston versus New England, Dallas versus New Orleans, Chicago versus the LA Rams in LA. What is a very arbitrary way of picking these winners? I got to think about it for a bit, and then maybe we'll do that tomorrow. But during the games, come up with a arbitrary method for quote unquote scientifically picking these teams. I'm trying to figure out something that we got all in common here. Maybe we'll just go the reverse Trump and go with the most liberal cities winning in this round, or maybe we go by culinary, most 5-star restaurants, most Michelin starred restaurants. But that'll just kind of then probably be the Chargers and the Rams winning. I don't know about Dallas versus New Orleans, Houston versus New England. That'd be kind of a hard one to determine. We go by property value, and then probably put both LA teams moving on, which is probably going to happen. I have this feeling that Kansas City is going to get this far and then just blow it. And Andy Reid shoots himself furiously in the foot. All right. All right, so we've been doing this for about 37 minutes now. Gone through the 4 picks for tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and take a short 5-minute break, and we'll be back. All right, I'm back. Sorry, so I take a phone call. Nah, I'm just kidding. I take a shit. All right, where we left off. Trying to decide on what our method of madness is gonna be for the next week's games. I guess we could wait to see how the games shake out first, but I kind of want to build a bracket here before the games start. So when I'm correct, I can package my pick projection system and sell it to the world. So let's try to find some arbitrary methods for choosing these teams. Like what would be a fair way of determining a winner arbitrarily with these teams? We have New Orleans, the Rams, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, New England, Kansas City, and another LA team. Oh, that was annoying. Sorry, I ate some pepper. Kind of got stuck in my throat. Almost died there. Luckily, there's no one here to have witnessed it. Anyway, we gotta figure out a way to pick let's just start randomly looking up some stuff. Fish fumes killed the boy. I knew it. Oh, how about yeah, I don't know. We need to come up with a arbitrary way to differentiate these teams. I think I got it, but it's gonna take some time to research. So we'll have that in the morning because this one might. I only want to bring it up for all you non-listeners out there who haven't heard a word of this and who probably never will, because I probably will delete these first few streams. That's gives another time to. I probably should have put this at the beginning about what I would like this stream to be eventually. And that is, I really want it to be a place where fans can come in and just kind of emotionally argue about the sports, make it a shit show. I don't really care. Argue with me, but more importantly, I want them to argue with each other. Bring people on. Let them argue their points, especially before weekends like this where we have playoffs, stuff like that. I was hoping to start this channel before the football season started, but it just didn't work out that way. So I figured, start it now, practice, try to work up, maybe learn how to get the streaming thing down, get comfortable talking to a microphone, get comfortable having people on here. Eventually, I'll try to promote it a little bit more. And then by next football season, I mean, It can be about any sport, honestly, but football seems to be the one that has the most fan interest, especially with like all the fantasy bullshit. I'm just kidding, I love fantasy. So then hopefully by next season we'll help learn into something that'll be a little bit more exciting. So you're not just listening to me try not to choke to death on a stream. So what other news there in the sports today? Antonio Brown, Sportsman of the Year? I think so. That, I mean, there's just no way he can ever be a Steeler again, right? Short of him coming out, and I don't even know how his apology would have to go. It would have to be pretty. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he can do. I don't know what he can do to be able to be on the team again. Short of them cutting every other player, rebuilding them up from scratch, and so none of them remember what Antonio Brown did. And it's probably even worse timing with him too, because I think I'm gonna spoil The Masked Singer. Luckily, there's nobody watching this, so I'm only spoiling it for myself. So I looked it up, but I think he was the first person revealed on that show was him singing. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Like that's just gotta be another thing that kind of. I know that those things are filmed in advance, and I don't know when it was filmed, but it's gotta be one of those things that his teammates look at and be like, even though it shouldn't be a distraction, like who gives a shit what he does in his off time? If he wants to put a mask on and sing for people, let him. I'm sure someone here will have a problem with it. I don't care. If you have a problem with it, tell me why. Tell me why you think that me being dismissive of it is an issue. But I'm sure that it probably rubs some people the wrong way. That he has time to pursue those outside things, but he's still blowing up the team. So there's just no way. There's just no way he can play for them again. Short of him coming out and giving the most heartfelt apology, they're gonna have to move on from him, and it's gonna hurt because I think his cap number's kind of messed up. Plus, they're not gonna give value back because other teams know the situation. They're gonna know that even if they think that they have a situation that can come in and Antonio Brown will be able to do well, they'll have a structure in place, or the right quarterback. And everyone's like New England or Green Bay. They might have the right structure in place to help acclimate him to the culture. They're still going to know that they're getting a discount because Pittsburgh has to move and they don't want to. And if the truth is that he was upset because he wasn't named team MVP, holy shit, man. You're that selfish that you would leave the team because of a team honor that you felt you got snubbed on, that you would leave the team on a must-win game to prove a point. Like, there's just no way. There's just no way he can come back to that team. So they're going to have to trade him. I know everyone says New England, but I feel like this is where a team like Washington is going to come in and screw themselves up and make some stupid trade for him. Let's see. What dumpster fire teams in the NFL would make a stupid offer for Antonio Brown? And where would Antonio Brown want to go? I think he went to school at Central Michigan. I could see him. That would be weird. Him going to Detroit. I don't think they have the structure in place. And it had to be a team that has Carolina. I can see Carolina doing that. That would actually be interesting. Teaming him up with Cam Newton with his shoulder heals properly. That would actually. I would actually be really interested in that. I'd love to see what touchdown celebrations they came up with. The teams that should just be a no. Oakland with their multiple draft picks, I could see them wanting to. I just feel like they should stay away. Um, the Jets as well. I know I can see them wanting to make a splash and get some tools or some more weapons for their new quarterback. But again, I think that a second-year quarterback just isn't going to be able to deal with it. Dolphins, no. Buffalo, no. I think I see the Redskins being the type of team that'll be like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll go for it. Push their chips in. They've been pretty mediocre to bad for most of the last 20 years. Giants won't do it. Giants should just trade for Roethlisberger. Just get 1 year out of him. The Bears, no. The Detroit Lions, though, that'd be an interesting match. But I don't think that they're close enough away to get that receiver. It just seems like something Washington would do. Maybe they learned their lesson from Albert Haynesworth. Tampa Bay, depending on who the coach is, seems like they're always kind of, I don't know. Deshaun Jackson wants out. Trade headache for headache. Arizona, no. Atlanta doesn't need him. I could see possibly San Francisco doing it. They have a solid offensive-minded head coach. They have what they think is going to be their answer at quarterback. They're a team that needs talent. They need playmakers. But, again, they should just build from... I mean, I'd love to see it because I think it'll be a train wreck. It'll help the Seahawks out. And I just don't want to have a strong San Francisco. Even though I kind of miss them from, like, I miss that, having a good San Francisco, from my childhood. They're always kind of fun to have on to root against. So let's see here. What are the teams? The Bengals, no. The Browns should not do it. No matter what, they should not do it. The Seahawks actually would be an interesting fit. But I would just want to see it because I want to hear him talk shit about Russell Wilson. Because I know I've heard a lot of rumblings from people who say they know people about how the people really felt about Russell Wilson in the building, mainly being like a kiss ass, something like that, like all monitor or tattletale. But that just seems ridiculous. New Orleans, no, they don't need him. That'd be kind of interesting. I want to know which quarterback would be most likely to punch him. Yeah, I think that if I could pick where he went, if I could hand pick 5 teams where I would want to see Antonio Brown traded to just for the entertainment factor, and that might make sense for the team. Carolina would be one of them. Detroit would be one of them. Need 3 more teams. Redskins, just because I think that's something they would do. San Francisco 4. Who's that 5th team? Who could possibly do it, and it might be interesting. Houston, actually, that would be kind of interesting, but I wouldn't do it if I were them. Indianapolis, too, that would be another one that would be kind of interesting. But like Indianapolis, the 5th team. So the 5 teams that I'd like to see, and this, I'm not looking at any cap numbers or anything like that. The 5 teams that I would want to see Antonio Brown land on: Carolina, Indianapolis, Washington, Detroit, San Francisco. That's them. All right. One of those 5 teams. Hopefully I'm right. I should write these predictions down and throw them all in my face when I'm wrong. Joe Flacco says it's not the most fun to back up Jackson. Pippen recalls Chicago meeting to tutor Kawhi. Did he just recall that in a dream, or? Okay, interesting. So, Antonio Brown doing what he does. That team's a mess. Who's to blame for that? Is Tomlin to blame? I don't think so. He might be to blame for the process on the field and maybe for what happens here going forward, but that's just some high school drama that it's not really something that he should be held accountable for. It would be interesting to hear him talk shit about Roethlisberger, though, what people really think about him. Apparently, there are always some whispers in the team that some players don't like him, but I tend not to listen. Let's see here. What are the headlines we got going? This is our Yahoo Sports front page. Russian player cusses after a loss to USA. Wow. Second headline down. Durant not surprised ref missed calling him. That was pretty bad. If you guys missed that last night, go look that highlight up. It's on Yahoo Sports. He had 2 feet out of bounds. I think Ryan Russillo had the best tweet, just not a catch. But basically almost lying completely out of bounds. Like there was just no way. It could have been more out of bounds. The only way it could have been more out of bounds if the ball was touching out of bounds. That almost cost Houston the game because that led to a 2-point lead. But then, hey, without that, you don't get Harden's 3. Let's see what else. Manny and Bryce keep us all guessing. I would not want either one of those players. Bryce Harper for 10 years. I mean, he's had like, let's see his stats. I was looking him up the other day. Like he had like 3 good years, like 1 great year, 2 really good years, and then some pedestrian years or where he struggled, including last year. I mean, obviously he's talented, and who knows, maybe he gets in the right situation. Maybe when he gets in the right situation, maybe he'll excel. When is pitchers and catchers reporting? This says on Yahoo that Seattle's playing Oakland Thursday, February 21st. Is that coming up that soon? Jesus. It's going to be weird. Mariners being a rebuilding team. All right. Well, anyway, yeah, I wouldn't want either one of those. Good luck with the Chicago White Sox. It looks like even the Yankees might sit it out. What other interesting things we got going on? Portland, OKC are coming down to the wire. I'm probably gonna bounce out here after about. I only want to do an hour tonight. I want to bounce out so I can watch the last quarter. Yeah. So a little bit more rambling. Try to be a little bit more structured tomorrow, but I doubt it. I'm gonna try to come up with a way to pick these teams randomly or arbitrarily, not random. I think I have a couple of ways, so stay tuned. All right. This is my name, Ken Winston, signing off. Thanks for joining.